Kia ora everyone, I'm Nic, founder of Kenzies Gift. I'd like to welcome you to the Grief Podcast, brought to you by Kenzies Gift. We're a New Zealand charity that provides mental health support for young Kiwis who've experienced the death of a parent or sibling. We don't avoid talking about death here. It's hard, it's real, and it changes everything. This podcast is a place for honest conversations about what it's like when someone in your life dies, how grief shows up, and what comes next.
Nic, it's such a pleasure to speak with you about Kenzie's gift and also your experience of living with grief.
Yeah.
And it's such a pleasure to interview you as the founder of Kenzie's gift as well. So thank you so much for agreeing to speak with me today.
Well, and thank you so much, Bijoux, for coming the whole way from the city.
My pleasure.
And walking over to be with us and for giving your time so generously today. It's an honour to speak with you.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. It's such a delight to be here with you. And I really actually wanted to ask you about what your experience of founding Kenzie's Gift as a charity was like, because you've experienced losing a loved one yourself.
Yeah.
Kenzie died, and you're also a cancer survivor, heart transplantee.
Yeah.
You've lived this whole life, and what I really wanted to know is, as you've moved from surviving to learning how to live in your version of a new normal, when or how did you decide that you would like to build a charity and a support system for others who have experienced the death of a family member?
Well, that's definitely a good question, Bijoux. It's, I think, very early on, whenever Kenzie was sick, I noticed the impact it was having on her mental health, even though she was only 3. Yeah. And also to Conor, her brother, he was 5. Like, Kenzie was quite traumatised by the whole thing because she was only little. We weren't being listened to, really, whenever we first presented to hospital, because they looked at the symptoms as a typical 2.5-year-old would present with. So it was toilet training issues or temper tantrums or night terrors, not the fact that she was stumbling over and falling and losing her mobility. Yeah. So it was quite a road to get diagnosed, and when she was, she would not have anybody, strangers near her. Absolutely nobody was allowed near her because she'd had lots of invasive medical treatments done. And then in that instant, whenever Kenzie got sick, like a hand grenade went off in our lives, really. It's the life we were living, out on Motatapi Island, all of a sudden, even for Conor, got shattered. It was a separated family, a seriously ill sister. So life changed really quickly, and throughout that year it was really tough. But we did have support through the medical system. The psych liaison team worked with Kenzie. There was nothing for Conor, of course, in relation to him being a little boy. But I had worked as a hospital play specialist in the UK and here, actually. I'd worked at both Starship and Kids First. So I knew how to communicate to children and how to use play to help them understand what was going on. But then when Kenzie died, because she had the audacity to die at Christmas, there was nothing there in the hospital because everybody was off. Yeah. So I was preparing Conor whenever she was in the paediatric intensive care unit. I took photographs of the unit where Kenzie was to show Conor, his sister, look, this is what we're going to see. Kenzie's body's not working very well at the minute. It needs a bit of a rest. So all these machines are doing the work for Kenzie, so her body can take a bit of a rest, and hopefully we'll get her better. So we sat and we explained all that to Conor, and then he was in the intensive care unit. He could speak to his sister and be with his sister. When we knew she wasn't going to survive it, because her kidneys were failing and she went into multi-organ system failure. Yeah. So whenever we went to turn the machines off and things, Conor again was part of that. We were explaining to him what was happening, and whenever we took Mackenzie off the machines, we were holding her. Conor was part of that, so he could see what was happening and talk to Kenzie and explain that her body was no longer able to do what she needed it to do. So her last show of strength and courage was to let go of a body that would no longer do what she needed to do, and she was dying. And we used those words because children don't understand passed away or gone to sleep. I think we've sanitised the word death out of our language now, and it makes it more scary. It's a very personal, intimate experience to be with Kenzie while she died. It was traumatic. I'm not, in anybody's language, it is a life-changing event. Yes. Absolutely life-changing. So after she died, there was a time when, when Kenzie came home from the hospital, like what happened during her time in the paediatric intensive care unit, a couple of days before she died, I remember a body bag with a child in it went past our room, and that stuck in my head. So whenever Kenzie whenever she died, I remember we had our lovely undertaker locally come, and I carried Kenzie out to him, and I said, Mark, please do not put her head in the bag. And he didn't, you know what I mean, because that stuck. It just, a child going out in a body bag was like, going,
Yeah.
you did. As a parent, it was like, no.
It's a lot.
Whenever Kenzie came home in her little coffin, again, Conor was there, and we took her out of the coffin. Conor was able to, you know, see what Kenzie was like, because a dead body is different. So then he had no fear or misunderstandings about what had happened whenever she was alive, what your body does. Whenever you're dead, this is what your body does. And he got to see that circle of life, you know, and it is something we talked about. So he didn't have to be fearful or imagine it. It was hard and it was sad and it was awful. But, you know, he would go and then he'd go and play, because he's a 5-year-old, right?
Yeah.
And we were doing all of that. But I had the skills from the work I had done, a little bit. You know, I'm not a psychotherapist or a psychologist at that, but I knew what to do to be open in language that he would understand, not to bombard him, but in enough language that he would be able to understand and process for him.
Yes.
And then a couple of months after Kenzie died, I mean, it was part of the funeral and everything. We were involved in what was called the Herceptin campaign back then. So we were advocating for access to better medications for women like me. And we decided we were going to Parliament, and we had a pink coffin that we were painting at the house. It was a full-size pink coffin we got. It was actually Mark, Kenzie's undertaker, gave us the coffin. So we were painting it and, you know, branding it. But we did all this when Conor was at school, going, Conor might be a bit traumatised. You know what I mean? So we don't want to show Conor the coffin, because he's already had Kenzie and stuff.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, he came home a bit early, and he got dropped home early. The next thing, he's seen the coffin, and I went, oh my goodness. But Conor said, oh mummy, a coffin, can I get in it? And he got in, and he brought his toys in with him, because that's what we'd done with Kenzie.
Yeah.
So it was the fact that we had used the language and, you know, nurtured him through it. And I thought, there should be something like this for other families, because other children had subsequently died that we knew. And throughout that, for the next couple of years, quite a few children that we had known had died, and quite a few women that I met had died because, unfortunately, with cancer, and is it unknown, things have gotten a lot better. It doesn't mean it is a death sentence, but death can come, and it is uncertain, and it's anxious, and it's nervous, and we don't know what to say or what to do with children. So that's where I got the idea for founding Kenzie's Gift. And I was a single mum, still going through treatment myself. It was 3 years after Kenzie died, I managed to put it into action. I went and met with other providers around the country. I met with some of the other wonderful charities, but they weren't doing this work. They've been a great support to us, but this was an area they weren't doing, was the mental health of children going through it. So we set up Kenzie's Gift on the basis of that. We got a board of trustees, we got our trustee done, and we started from there. I didn't have any money. A friend was going back to Ireland, and she gave us her old bed stock, because she had a bed business, and we sold that on Trade Me, I think, at the time, and that got us $3,000 to start off.
Wow.
So that's where it all started, this little seedling. I'd finished my psychology degree, I did my postgrad in PR and comms, and so I was still having to work as a single mum. I still had to have a job. Kenzie's Gift wasn't something I set up to give me a job. It was something I was very passionate about.
Yes.
So throughout the years, you know, it was very much a passion project of mine. I continued to work, you know, on Kenzie's Gift and with other contracts as well. And over the course of this last, we set it up in 2008. So yeah, 18 years now this year. And
congratulations.
Thank you. So it's grown and it's grown and it's grown. It has not been easy, but ultimately for me, what keeps me going is the feedback from families. The fact that, you know, we see the good work that the teams are doing. We see given the right support at the right time with the right qualified people, you know, for families that we're doing a good thing. And I think for me, ultimately the New Zealand community was so good to us whenever Kenzie was sick. And whenever I was sick, they were so good.
Yes.
And this was my way of giving something back. Beautiful. And so that's why I did it. And also I think there's lots of people who are well-intentioned, but you know, this is this area of life where it is sad when someone dies. When you've got children involved and someone, you know, a parent or their sibling has died or is facing a serious illness, it is high trauma work. You need to have the proper skills to know what you're doing. And not everybody needs therapy, not everybody needs a level of therapy, but we know if they need it, it is there.
Yes.
And it's part of the system. There's lots of group work that can be done out there, which is wonderful. There's lots of wonderful art courses, art groups out there that are absolutely fantastic out in New Zealand doing wonderful work. But you know, this was just an area that filled a gap. And I'm proud of what the team does. We've got, I think, over 40 therapists around the country now. And our referrals continue to grow every month.
Yes.
And we work with amazing people, and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of what they've achieved. And I'm proud of Kenzie's legacy. And I'm proud of very much of my son Conor, who's now 26.
Yes.
You know, so he's an amazing young man. He's met amazing friends, and he's met amazing people through this, like yourself, Bijoux.
Yes.
So that's why I set up Kenzie's gift. And sorry about my tremor. When you live with Parkinson's as well, it's on and off, so it's like the legs are going. And living with a malfunctioning body has made things a bit more challenging, being a single mum and living with a malfunctioning body, but it gives you insights into what it is like to juggle those things and the impact it does have. And I think, as I said to you, what Kenzie's lesson to me was, as I shared with you earlier,
yes.
After I was diagnosed with cancer, I remember going back to Kenzie's room and we had one of the lovely nursing interns sitting with her whenever I had to go off and get my test in case it was breast cancer. And I came back, I was a bit pissed off, to say the least, going, how could life be so bloody unfair? This is somebody's idea of a sick joke. And steaming in there as a grumpy Northern Irish woman could be. And Kenzie's going, Mummy, it's, look, my cake. And what she had, she'd made a Play-Doh cake as if she was the finalist on British Bake Off, you know what I mean? She was so chuffed with herself.
Amazing.
And I thought, in that moment, I thought, who's got life sorted out? Even though she was there bald as a coot, on a bed, she couldn't walk because of her cancer, had taken that ability away from her at that time. And it's like she could still have the crack, she could still find wonder and enjoyment whenever life had thrown so much shite at her. So I think for me, I'm above ground, and I take every moment of being above ground, and I take those lessons that she taught me, and I hope to maybe share a little bit of that. It's recognising whenever tough stuff happens, it is hard, and it's recognising the painful event that it is. It is life-changing. You will live with this forever. It doesn't have to define you. You can find moments of joy in life, and it's finding those little moments that whatever life is thrown at you, that can bring you a little bit of peace and solitude, or a little bit of, to get you through. And I find that even for those who have got short lifespans left, they're living that life. They're not waiting to die. And in that, it's not being flippant. It is being that they can find something. If it's sitting with a loved one, listening to an audiobook, sitting in the garden with the butterflies flying around, or listening to the bird song, or down at the beach. It's those little moments that can make it, they can make your life still worth living in those moments when it's very, very hard. And it's the thing, it's recognising that life can be hard, and recognising people's feelings, but finding something that can keep you going. And being with your loved one in those moments. So that's a bit of a long word.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And as someone who has received support from Kenzie's gift, thank you on behalf of all of us who have been able to experience and be supported through those services. I mean, I am a product of the support that you have set up. So thank you very much. And that's why it's such a privilege to be sitting here with you today. And one question that I had, as someone who's living with Parkinson's, but also as someone who lives with having experienced trauma through the death of your loved one, Kenzie, how do you decide for yourself the days which you are going to rest and take a pause, and the days where you would prefer to press on?
I think it's, you wake up on a given day, and I think you can tell when your body's telling you. It's like some days if I'm completely fatigued, and that's the thing with Parkinson's, it's not just the tremor or that you can see. And some days, and because with the heart transplant as well, if I'm feeling fatigued, I'll take the time. I know how to manage it. And that's the good thing. I mean, I work remotely, so my work would never fit into a normal 9-to-5 job. So being able to work remotely, I can work with what my body allows me to do. So if I have to take, I usually would take a nap at lunchtime. It means you work a bit longer into the evening, or you can do a weekend. So it means you're still as productive. I've never lost the productivity. And you'll always get insights of how to adapt as your body changes and what you can do. So it's being able to say, well, actually, this is what I can tolerate today, and this is what I can't. And that even goes to my social life. I mean, most people know, like, somebody asked me before, has it changed me? Am I a different person than I was before Kenzie died? I'm a completely different person. Conor sometimes says to me, you don't like people. I say, Conor, I say, because I don't like the big social events, I like to be, I'm more comfortable in a smaller group of people. Because I find meeting new people, if you're in a big group, it does take a lot of energy and a lot of cognitive thought.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it can be a bit overwhelming at times, especially with the parking. Sometimes you just need to go, right, I've got this amount of energy, I can do this today, and this is what I can't do.
Yes.
And I've also, like, if I do get invited to things, I'll have my permission to say no. So I'll say to friends, look, I'll say yes, but if I'm not feeling great on the day, I won't come, so don't be offended. So keep asking me. So it's the same as someone, you know, especially in those early days after Kenzie died, friends kept asking, you know, those friends that got it and understood, and they would ask, and they knew sometimes I would turn up and sometimes I wouldn't.
Yes.
And if I needed to leave early, they understood, they didn't get offended, they got it. It's like, if I need to leave early, I'll leave early, and it's giving yourself the permission to do those things. And it is called self-care, it's not being selfish.
Yeah,
It's got to be, you've got to recognise that. I wouldn't have gotten through everything on a given day without a wonderful orchestra of friends. I have got friends who, they've all got different skill sets. Whenever I went for my transplant, for example, they swooned in. So you're the one who would feed you with love,
Yes.
you know what I mean, and would show their love through food, so you get these beautiful meals. Others were more practical, they'll come around and do the practical things around the house. I have the entertainers that will come and give you, you know, perk up and you'd have a good laugh with.
Yeah.
And those that you want to have that really, you know, personal conversation with, you need a bit of emotional support. You've got them as well. So you can't expect one friend to do all those things. It's draw on your friends, draw on their skill sets.
Yes.
And don't get offended if you ask the one to, if you want an emotional tete-a-tete with your practical friend, don't get offended with them if they don't offer you the wise words of wisdom. And I found that's been a great help through the years as well. And I find that, and you may have found it as well, Bijoux, I don't know, but whenever a big event hits in life, you sometimes get ghosted by friends.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what to say or what to do. And they don't want to, maybe, but they may have stuff going on in their own lives as well. So I think, while you can get offended by people who you thought would turn up, it's a bit like, I think you just trim them back.
Yeah.
You nurture the ones who do come into your life, because people will surprise you. Those who you would never thought swoon in, and it's like, oh my goodness, and this amazing person turns in and somebody steps out. So you'd be ticked off and annoyed about the friend you thought would have been there, but don't dwell on it. Welcome the ones that come in and that surprised you.
Yeah.
And I found that's been a lesson that I've learned over the years as well. Yeah, and it still surprises me. Surprised me over the transplant, who turned up and who didn't. But that just means the bunch of friends I've got now are amazing, and it's nurturing those friendships as well.
Yeah. So for people who just recently experienced the death of a loved one, or maybe it's been a few years now, what does it look like, or how can one discern finding a community or support people around them? What would be things to look out for?
Well, I think over time, I think you become aware of a friendship. I think there's something to be said for listening to your gut. You'll notice, I think over time, friendships do change over the passage of time, right? And I think as we move through life, we have different life events happen to us, whatever they are, need it be families, relationships, careers, you know, something awful may happen that wasn't expected. And I think sometimes your friends will gain those insights and growth, their emotional growth of them, but some don't. And I think as time progresses, there's no timeline on grief or on friendships or any major event you go through, I think, but it's always go with your gut instinct, have those conversations, and if the conversations are too hard to have, just trim back, you know what I mean? Even me, you know, we've cycled through different friends as life stages have gone on, and tough things happen, and you will grieve a loss of a friendship, especially one that you nurtured and you really believed in, and you can be hurt and all those things. Like a friendship like that is sometimes as hard as a romantic relationship to break away from, but I think you work through it, and I think, as I said, nurture those new ones that come into your life.
Yes.
And don't dwell on things, and it's that cliche, isn't it? Don't dwell on the things you cannot change. I think for me, that was what I learned. People would often give me advice over the years, unsolicited, well-intended but unsolicited advice on things I should do to look after myself and my body. And to be fair, I think people want to think they've got some level of control of what goes on in your body. You're told about something to do, or maybe have you do this with your diet, maybe you should do that with your exercise, maybe you should take this supplement. But I think it's about, I'm above ground, I'm going to take things that I enjoy doing. I'm not going to go to the extreme ends of a diet. Everything in moderation, and do the things I enjoy and that brings me pleasure, because my time above ground, I don't know how long I've got above ground, and I want to do things that I enjoy.
Yeah. You have written a book
Yes.
called Bollocks,
Yes.
which I'm very excited for and is releasing in October.
Yeah.
Before I ask you my follow-up question about that, would you like to speak a bit about the book?
So yeah, I was asked over the years, I suppose some people think it's a bit of an ego project, but I've been asked over the years to write a book.
Yes.
Everybody's life experiences are all different. Our personalities are all different. How we deal with stuff is all different. For me, I've dealt with my life events in my life the way that I can get through, right? So,
Yes.
But that's me. Now, somebody else is different, and they're made differently from me. So what worked for me will not work for them. So that mine is a show. It's a show. This is my story.
Yes.
This is how I got through it. This is how Kenzie got through it. These are the lessons she taught me. So I'm definitely not teaching people how to do it. There is quite a bit of irreverent, dark humour, being Northern Irish. But there is bits of it which is hard to read. You know what I mean? We don't sugarcoat the fact of when Kenzie got sick and she died. That bit's hard, and it's hard to read.
Yeah.
But I think those that have been proofreading it for me, you know, it definitely showcases who she was and who Conor was
That's beautiful.
as children. And you can really hear them and feel them through the book. And also then my Northern Irish side of things, my writing mentor at the time and editor was going, we need more emotional depth, Nic, we need more emotional depth. And I'm really going, I'm Northern Irish, I don't do emotional depth, what do you mean? I was like,
Don't do it.
It's like, what do you mean? As I said, whenever I got diagnosed, I was a bit annoyed at life, and then it's like, Kenzie teaches you one thing, and the thing is, I'm above ground, and I do enjoy living life, and I enjoy time with my friends, and I enjoy doing stuff. So the book is full of that as well, and it's full of those nuances. And also for people, I understand why lots of people don't like the medical system, and especially those who would prefer alternative treatments, right? I understand it, because sometimes whenever you go into the medical system, you aren't heard. You are ignored, and you do have a bad experience. We've all got that, and there is those stories in the book as well. But in the same turn of coin, I met some amazing health professionals who really went the extra mile for me, and listened and really advocated for me. They're the ones I treasure. I learned lessons through that, and also, so there's the good, the bad, and the different.
Yeah.
Some things don't make sense to me. I'll have a rant. This isn't making sense. Why is this happening? So yes, it's an irreverent, at times darkly funny, but also it's my life through living on a remote island, being a dive instructor.
Yes.
It's raising Conor and Kenzie, coming over when Kenzie got sick at Auckland here, starting life again after Kenzie died, and building a life for me and Conor afterwards, and the wonderful people I met, and a continuing malfunctioning body.
Yeah.
Heart failure, and then Parkinson's, and then the heart transplant, and the lessons I've learned along the way, and the amazing people I've met. So yeah, so that's what the book is about, hence it being called Bollocks, when life isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Incredible. I'm so looking forward to reading it as well. And the follow-up question which I had for you, Nic, me personally, I understand that it might make sense if the way that you recount your life in Bollocks versus how you would recount your life for the Kenzies Gift platform would be slightly different. Do you feel that it does have to be slightly different?
Kenzie's Gift is in there, and I suppose it's like, I'm not Kenzie's Gift. It is an organisation. It's beyond me. I set it up. It has Kenzie throughout it. It has my influence throughout it. It has my belief system in science and being evidence-based very strongly through it. That comes through in the book, and it comes through what we deliver at Kenzie's Gift, right? So that, and it's my belief in how language should be approached based on evidence of how we should talk about things and talk to children. But I mean, I'm more irreverent. There's the things I would say irreverently that would not put on Kenzie's Gift, because it's an organisation, and I'm Nic. And I mean, I don't hold back. There's intimate stuff in the book, and some jokes, but there's nothing shocking in there. It's raw. I mean, upfront about some of the invasive treatments that you do have, and also I think relationships as well. And it's like, whenever we are ill and we're going through stuff, we're not always the best behaved either.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like the best side. So that's when you need your friends to, and my friends were very understanding.
Yes.
My friend read the book and she said, "Nick, you came across as very grumpy when you were going through transplant, but you weren't that grumpy." And I said, "But I felt that grumpy."
Yeah.
Because I was getting frustrated, because I was feeling, because not being maybe listened to at times, and I was getting frustrated. So I felt more wound up than I normally would be. So on things like that, I think we're being honest. It's not. So while I come across in lots of my personal social media posts quite upbeat and quite jokey and quite irreverent and funny, there is another side to it. It's not all.
Yes.
It's not all like that.
Yeah.
And it's recognising that, as I said, about life being real, I would call myself a hopeful optimist. I look at life through a real lens, and I think that comes through in the book. And I think it's recognising people's feelings, and I think, because what I really want is people to recognise life is invariably hard, but there are habits through every day, and it's not a big, boom, I've got this miraculous, wonderful life. It's not. I'm still living. I'm above ground.
Yes.
Life is still challenging. Days I do worry about my work situation with Parkinson's. It is a degenerative disease. I still have all those worries and anxieties. You catastrophize with Parkinson's because you've got anxiety and stuff. But I managed to get ways of working with it and coping with it, and my strategies that I get through every day. And so it's, and you still have your own doubts and questions, and so it's human.
Yes.
It's not all positive and, living your best life and this is what you do to live your best life. It is not. It is definitely not that.
Yeah.
And I think everybody who's been through something tough, I think if you're being honest, you'll show that side to life as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I certainly do to my closest friends as well. That's for sure. And Nic, another question that I had for you, and you have touched on this a few times throughout our conversation, but has the way that you encounter and experience grief changed over time?
Yeah, I mean, whenever Kenzie first died, that was the thing that nearly broke me. I honestly thought I would never come back from it, but during the day I kept really, really busy. I had to be completely distracted, and I was really busy doing the reception campaign, studying, being a mum to Conor, and all those things to keep me. So during the day you didn't have to think, you were busy, but then the nights came and it was hideous, absolutely hideous. And at nights then you sometimes wished that the cancer would come back, and then you'd be lights out, that's it, done, because you just stop the pain. And that's been honest, that's been an honest reflection of it. But then of course I didn't really want that because I wanted to be here for Conor. You thought it would never get easier, but it did ease off over time. And it's not, I don't like this saying that time's a great healer, because it's not. I think the rawness changes over time, and the way I look at grief it's a bit like, if you want a physical analogy, it's like having an acute attack of something, right? You end up, this acute pain is overwhelming and you're doubled over, and then it morphs into that chronic condition. Right, so it never goes away, but it's there, and then you can get a flare up and it'll knock you off your feet. So you might be someplace, it could be years afterwards. I remember when I went to Rainbow's End a few years after Kenzie died, we'd been at Rainbow's End in the November before she died. She had a wonderful time. It was a lovely memory. And then I went back to Conor and a little friend about 3 or 4 years later, and I wasn't expecting this, but I nearly cracked. Because you've got this little thin veneer covering you, holding you all together, and then it hit, and it was that knocked me off my feet for about a week. And then you pick yourself up again and you keep going again, and that is the same thing throughout life. So you will have flare-ups, that chronic condition, and it's still now I do, and it's 20 years down the track now, but it has changed, and it does change over time, but you always carry it. And the things that I like is people will talk about Kenzie, and when I've met people whose loved one has died, I'll always ask what their name was, rather than an unnamed person, because they were here, they were part of life and what they enjoyed. And I think sharing stories, because that keeps their memory alive, because their memories will die with us eventually. Kenzie's memory will probably die with Conor whenever he or his children die, because she's part of history then.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I think keeping your loved one's name alive, and I think that's important, but again, everybody's different. That's what I've found comforting. I've found most people, when I've asked what their loved one's name was, and I remember quite a few people said, you're the first person that's ever asked me what their name was, and to have a conversation. And I think that's really important. That's what I've found. And so that's what I still found now. And some people in the early days, you figure out that I just can't talk about it. Let's respect that as well. I said everybody is different in how they deal with it. But I said for me, it's like, well, that Kenzie only had 3 short years in life. She loved life. The fact that she didn't get longer was very cruel. So I think if I did not live my life to the best I could, with all that's happened to me, would be to dishonour her legacy. So that's why, still now, it is hard, but she was beautiful. And we wouldn't be having this conversation now. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, Nic.
Thank you so much, Bijoux. And the thing is, it's nice to see young people who have been supported by Kenzie's gift and her legacy going on and having fulfilling, wonderful lives, and you'll make your place in this world, and I think it's amazing. And you'll make your dad proud.
I mean, once again, on behalf of everyone who's been touched by Kenzie's gift, you've deeply impacted many of our lives, and we get to experienced the joys of life because of what you've done.
Oh, thank you.
And I wouldn't be where I am today without the support that I had from Kenzie's gift. I wouldn't be able to provide support to my loved ones if I hadn't had that support from Kenzie's gift. So thank you for the legacy that you have set up.
Thank you, Bijoux.
But also for the futures that you've enabled because of what you've done.
Thank you.
So,
that's what makes all the tough days when you're worrying about fundraising and you're worrying about, gosh, how do we keep this thing going? That's what makes it worthwhile. And this is why we keep it going. And keep scrambling for money to keep it going. Because that's the reality of it, is without the money nothing gets done.
Yeah, exactly. And
so to all those people who believe in it, who fundraised and supported us throughout the years, it's thanks to them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't have been able to do any of it without
that's amazing.
all the supporting people that are involved.
Yeah.
So thank you for believing in the vision.
My pleasure, and not to immediately pivot away from this moment, because I'm just really grateful that I can be in this space with you. But for people who do want to support the work of Kenzie's gift, is that on the website?
Yes, it is.
Great.
Yeah. So and just reach out, drop us an email. It's anybody that wants to get involved. It would be lovely to hear from them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Bijoux.